guys, thanks for tuning into Within the Frame. I'm Janet.
And I'm Richard.
And today we're talking about trailers, Rough Night, The Defenders, etc. And we're doing movie reviews on The Circle and Guardians of the Galaxy.
Little known movie. I don't know if you guys have heard about it. It's gonna be a thing you watch.
So how about we just get started?
All right. Let's start with the trailers. First one we have up is The Defenders. This will be for the new Marvel Netflix team up. This is Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, and Iron Fist all coming together. Janet, what did you think of the first trailer for The Defenders, which will premiere on August 18th?
It looks awesome. I actually, to be honest, have not seen any of the Marvel TV shows. So I know you're a huge fan of Jessica Jones. My boyfriend's a huge fan of something.
Daredevil's what your boyfriend's a huge fan of.
But I have yet to watch any of those shows. But just, judging from the trailer, it looks like it's going to be pretty cool, pretty epic. I love how they make fun of themselves, kind of like just, I feel like a lot of team-based superheroes always end up making fun of themselves, kind of like this is kind of silly, but I liked it.
Oh yeah, I'm super pumped. I thought my hype would be a little down after how bad Iron Fist was.
Yeah.
But like I said, I love Jessica Jones. That's my favorite. I love Daredevil. Luke Cage was really good. So I was really excited for this going in. And then just the dynamics. I just love seeing them all bounce off each other. That moment in the trailer when it's Matt Murdock walks in and he says, "Jessica Jones, I'm your attorney." I'm just like, oh, this is going to be great. And to see Iron Fist punch Luke Cage in the face. And it mirrors that shot perfectly from the first season of Luke Cage, where someone punched Luke Cage across the face and their hand broke. So it's weird to see that same shot. Now we're
all those things didn't click for me because I didn't have that previous.
Well, that's your fault, obviously. Spoiler alert, Janet. There's a shot in the first trailer.
Yeah.
But I'm just so excited. And watching the trailer made me realize Jessica Jones is going to be the funny one of this team. She's going to be like the Iron Man. She's going to be the one to kind of make jokes.
Seems like she has a lot of sass.
She's got a lot of sass, and that's what I love about it, because she's going to totally call out Luke. She's already worked with Luke Cage before, but someone like Daredevil, she's going to totally call him out on a lot of his stuff. And Iron Fist, Jessica Jones is going to get out all the anger that people have for Iron Fist, on Twitter and everywhere. She's going to be the voice of all those people.
All right.
So yeah, The Defenders, I'm super excited for. I thought American Gods was going to be the show of 2017, but I was wrong. It's The Defenders. All right. Next trailer we have up is Rough Night. This one is a comedy starring Scarlett Johansson, Ilani Glazer, Jillian Bell, Kate McKinnon, and Zoe Kravitz, which will open on June 16th. Janet, what do you think of the first trailer, or the second trailer actually, for Rough Night?
I'm super excited for it. This trailer was a lot funnier than the first trailer, and you really get to see more of what's going on throughout the night and kind of how the events end up going to where it ended up going. And it just seems really funny. I love the dynamic between all of the actresses. They have a lot of good charisma and just humor.
Oh, yeah. You put these five together, and you already have my money.
Yeah.
I liked the first trailer a lot, but this one I was just okay, you need a good comedy in the summer. And we got a lot of potential ones to be good coming out, but right now this one I think has jumped towards this might be my favorite of the summer.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting.
It looks like it's going to be a Bad Moms mixed with The Hangover.
Which I love both those movies,
yeah.
So I'm totally on board with that. All right, so we're both excited for that, guys. Next trailer we have up is The Dark Tower, based off the epic Stephen King novel. They've been trying to get this off the ground for a very long time. Dark Tower opens on August 4th, so it's really late in the game to have a trailer. The very fact that they have a trailer 3 months before the movie comes out.
Well, a lot of movies sometimes want to have that mystery surprise appeal.
Yeah, last minute push for interest.
Yeah.
I feel like now we're just gonna be bombarded with Dark Tower stuff. They're saving all their money instead of stretching it out over a year.
Hopefully. No, this is the first time. Obviously, I've heard of it. This is the first time I saw the trailer, and just seeing Stephen King's name on it, I was like, oh my god! It just instantly gave me a little bit more excitement. But then that's opening scene where he has a gun or two guns. And then the bullets just snap into place and he just shoots them.
That's how cool he is.
It's a little ridiculous.
I think you're saying awesome wrong, because I thought that was so cool. I was yeah.
It has that kind of you have to just forget about reality Matrix feel to it, and it's just if they do it right, it could flow well with the movie. But if the movie is gonna be a little outlandish like that, I don't know. I don't know if I'm gonna.
Yeah. I was kind of interested. The trailer, I don't know anything really about the books. I know the books exist, and I know it's been a big undertaking for those involved. At one point, they were going to do it as a TV show. They were going to do a trilogy, and I think this is the start of a trilogy now. It got me interested. I don't know.
I think they casted it really well.
Oh yeah, Idris Elba and Matthew McConaughey. Like, you
Yeah.
tell me those two are in anything, you already have me interested. But together, like, that's gonna be a fun dynamic.
Yeah, Matthew McConaughey makes like a perfect villain.
You and me just love Matthew McConaughey and everything.
Yeah.
Like, we're pretty okay with him.
No, just like the scenes that he was in was just like, oh my god, I can totally see this working. I want more.
He's got such a charisma to him.
Yes, and like it's not like, I love how it's not like, he doesn't look like straight up evil, even though they say like he's worse than the devil in the trailer. He kind of has like this charisma of him where I'm like, I kind of know, maybe I could be on your side.
That's what makes him scary. It's because he's so charismatic and charming. He could be like the devil.
He's not like the Darth Vader of like, yeah, I don't, but he's just kind of like.
You don't find Darth Vader charismatic and charming? I certainly do.
Oh.
But it's interesting because this opens in August. And then another adaptation of a Stephen King work opens in September, which is It.
Mm-hmm.
And It has a smaller budget, but it has generated a lot more interest in it than this has. Because this has a fan base, but I don't think the audience
and it has previous film.
Yeah. And I think, just that trailer for It, like, is now one of the most watched trailers of all time.
Mm-hmm.
Where this trailer just sort of appeared and didn't happen. So, and this is a much bigger budget, so it'll be interesting to see. Obviously, I think it's fair to say that It will perform better at the box office. So it'll be interesting to see where we go, because there are so many.
Hopefully that star power will actually push him through, though.
Yeah, because we're going to see a lot more Stephen King adaptations in the near future, I feel like, which we've already seen a lot of before, so that'll be fun. Or no, it won't be. I don't know. I feel like we've had so many Stephen King works that I don't know. They're redoing Firestarter, and they already remade Carrie, so I feel like, don't remake The Shining, guys. You already tried once before for a TV movie. Don't do it. Just leave that alone. Remake Maximum Overdrive.
Who are you talking to? Are you talking like executives?
Yeah, they're watching. They're watching. Somebody's watching.
Just don't do it, guys.
Just don't do it. I know you think it's a good idea. Put the drink down. Think about it in the morning, and maybe just don't do it.
Unless it's starring Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah, if it's starring Matthew McConaughey, then maybe remake The Shining. I don't know.
No, do whatever you want.
All right, guys. So the next trailer we have up, and this is the final trailer we have for the day, is Dunkirk, the World War II epic by Christopher Nolan. Opens on July 21st. And this is our, I think, third trailer for the movie. Like, we had a teaser, a really brief teaser, which was just, like, nothing. And then we had a trailer, and this is our second trailer, which was attached to Guardians. And this movie opens in two...
It wasn't attached to my Guardians.
It wasn't attached to your Guardians. My Guardians, it was, like, one of the big trailers. It was, like, one of the final ones. Mm-hmm. What did you think of the trailer for Dunkirk?
This trailer is so intense. Like, it just shows so much more of, like, the world. I feel like the previous trailers have been, like, snippets of just, like, something happening that we're not sure what happened, or on the beach or on a boat, and there's like remnants of war going on, but like this trailer is just like boom, it lays it all out for you.
Yeah,
super intense. I'm still really curious as to how this is PG-13.
Yeah, I'm curious too, but I'm also just like, it doesn't seem like they're gonna be showing a lot of bloodshed. Like, it looks like a lot of it feels like a lot more of the focus will be on the
it's a lot of violence
a lot of violence, but a lot of it will be focused more on the civilian boats. And I mean, I like this trailer a lot because it does outline the plot, because that has been something the other trailers never did, was they never really gave you an idea of what the story was. They just said this is a real life event, and I feel like for a movie like this in a summer movie season, you have to like let the audience know this is what the plot is. And it is such a beautiful looking trailer also. Like, Nolan always makes a great looking movie, and I love that's coming out in the summer. It's not going to be like a prestige, they're not releasing it like in November like among like other what could be an Oscar contender. They're releasing it as a summer movie to like give a change of pace, like when he released Inception. So, coming off of Nolan's last movie, did you like Interstellar, or you liked Interstellar? You liked it a lot?
My mind.
I liked Interstellar. I think I was, I saw it twice. I don't think I loved it as much as I could have. I should have, but I still liked it a lot.
I mean, Matthew McConaughey.
Of course. Again, Matthew McConaughey. He held it up quite a bit.
No, I feel like Christopher Nolan has an amazing ability to turn something so complex and something that would be out of many directors' reach, and is able to contain it in a story and really develop it and create something that's super intriguing for the audience and still be able to follow.
Yeah, it makes it.
Yeah, Interstellar, I feel like, or even Inception, they're so complicated. Sometimes you might have to double think yourself, but the stories are there, and they're like super intriguing, and they're beautiful. And I feel like Dunkirk is probably going to do the same thing. But and I also think that with the trailer, like, yeah, we know more about the story, but we probably don't know the whole story. There's going to be like so much more knowing Christopher Nolan.
Oh yeah. And did you see Harry Styles in the trailer? Because he's in this
Yeah.
movie. And I was like, it took
He
me.
was in the last trailer too.
Yeah, but it's like it took me till the second viewing to be like, wait, that's Harry Styles?
Yeah, he's
That's
just sitting on the beach.
I was like, that's the One Direction dude. So I was
Yeah.
like, that's pretty cool that he's in this.
Yeah, he's growing out of his One Direction phase.
Is Dunkirk like in your list of most anticipated for the summer?
For sure. Definitely anything that Christopher Nolan comes out with is definitely a most anticipated film for me.
Oh yeah, I'm super pumped. It's gonna be awesome, guys. So everyone should go check out Dunkirk. It'll also be opening against Valerian, so that's a chance where you have two really good movies probably opening. Don't listen to her head nod. Valerian's probably gonna be awesome. It was from the guy that did The Fifth Element, and The Fifth Element is awesome. So anyway, guys, moving on. Now we're going on. Now we got some reviews. Janet saw a little movie, and this one actually is a little movie. This one, well, little.
Probably never heard of it, huh?
Yeah, it's called The Circle.
Yeah.
Yeah, with I don't know this new kid named Tom Hanks.
Yeah.
I've never heard.
Hiddleston?
Tom Hiddleston, Tom Cruise, a lot of Toms in Hollywood.
Yeah.
Tom Hanks and Emma Watson. So Janet, what did you think of The Circle?
So this film I think came out last week.
Yeah.
And you know, as I'm talking to different people, like some people don't even know this movie existed. Which now that I think about it, there wasn't that much promotion on it. So you probably haven't seen it yet. But I'll save you
Based off the
the
box
effort.
office, nobody saw it.
Yeah, it was. So the trailer, you know, it kind of tells you a little bit about how this world where there's this entity called the Circle. There's a lot of surveillance camera. There's a lot of interactivity with people and just putting everything online. And the Circle is basically like if Google Plus actually took off and you were able to do everything on Google. And it's a really cool idea. And then they take it like a step further with being like 24 hours on video, like if you were like a vlogger, just constantly being watched. And just, it's all about that concept of like, would you want to be watched all the time? Would you want cameras everywhere? They have like this little camera that you can just put on walls, and they put it all over the world just to see things. And they say maybe this can stop tyrants and dictatorships and prevent crimes. And like, it's all about these concepts, but nothing ever happens. Like, you don't actually see anyone preventing a crime or stopping the government from being crazy or anything. It's just concepts. And having an amazing actress like Emma Watson and Tom Hanks and I forget his name.
John Boyega.
Yes.
Patton Oswalt.
Yeah, they did such a terrible job. Like, oh my God. I was honestly...
So brutal.
I was watching this film and I'm like, I don't know what's going on. I don't know where it's going. And like, it was halfway through the movie. I'm like, what's the conflict? Who's the protagonist? Who's the antagonist? I mean, you can kind of assume that it's Emma Watson because she's just understanding this world and getting involved with it, but she's not actually taking any real actions. She's just being like hit with this world, and she's just like, I like it, I don't like it, I like it, and nothing ever happens, and it's upsetting because I feel like this could have been a really cool movie, and it fell flat on his face.
That's very disappointing to hear.
Yeah.
Because I liked the director's last movie, which was The Spectacular Now, and I love that movie. That was like one of my favorite films of 2013. So to hear it, and when I first heard he was doing this movie with this cast, I was like, man, I'm kind of excited. But the more trailers I saw, I was like, this doesn't look that good. It's even more a shame because this is actor Bill Paxton's last movie. Bill Paxton passed away a few months ago, so this is a real shame that his last movie is sort of a dud. But we still have a great legacy of Bill Paxton to remember him by.
Yeah.
So anyway, guys, that's your review for The Circle, and now we're moving on to big event. Summer movie season has officially started, and it started with a bang with Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Basic story is... How do you even describe the story without going into spoilers? I feel like a lot of it... Like, the movie's marketing department was very clever about basically only showing parts from the very first act of the movie. So I guess the basic premise is that the Guardians are back, they're doing their thing, and they wind up uncovering a secret about Peter Quill's father. They finally meet him, and we get into this crazy adventure.
That's a good summary.
Yeah. So, Janet, what did you think of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2?
First... Groot is adorable.
Baby Groot. Oh
Freaking
my.
love the dude. In this movie, he's kind of like the little pet, like the little puppy or the cute little, like, thing that's just there, and he's adorable, he's cute, kind of helps out a little bit, but you can't really put too much on him. And he's so cute. I just love him. I loved every scene that he was in.
He's not annoying like I was a little worried that they were going to overuse him because the marketing really overused him. It was like, he's going to be a minion, isn't he?
Yeah,
like,
the very first scene. Was it the first scene? That he's just... There's like this huge fight scene, and he's just kind of there, like being adorable.
Doing his little dance number.
Yeah. Okay, so moving past Groot, I thought this story was really cool. Definitely was not expecting it. Like you said, the trailers don't really give you too many spoilers of what's going on. So there was a lot of shock moments of just like, oh my god, what? Whoa. And the soundtrack was awesome. I feel like at a couple points, they may have overdone it. I feel like they're getting really, really dependent on the soundtrack and just like Peter Quill's like love for these oldie songs, and it's just like super entangled into the movie that sometimes it's a little overdone. But I feel like that and maybe the kind of being a little too much on the comedy side are my only two like concerns with the movie. Sometimes, like we were talking before, there's some dramatic moments, and you want them to be dramatic so they can sink in, they can feel right, and then they just hit you with a joke or something like that. And most of the time, it worked for me, but there was a few times where I was just like, could have done without.
Yeah, I know what you mean, and I think a lot of the reason is because like, if you look at the first film is a really straightforward, like, space opera. Mm-hmm. It's just a classic space adventure.
Space opera?
That's what they were called, space opera. That's what you called them, like, back in the day, those, like, stories. They were these big, grandiose, epic, emotional space stories.
Know that.
Yeah. So it's a very straightforward one. And if you notice, the Guardians don't really have an impact on the plot. They just sort of kind of wander into the story, kind of act as a virus on it. They sort of basically take it and make it their own. Mm-hmm. So they infect that story. So because of that, they can make jokes in the first film, and it really lands. But the dramatic scenes don't really work in the first film.
This is a lot more personal.
Yeah, in this film, they are the central plot. Yeah. It's all based around their character interaction. So the dramatic moments when they land, they really land, and they're really like sweet and genuine. And the jokes, a lot of them, the jokes really do work. But sometimes you're right, they are undercut because I think they're afraid to be too sincere because it's sort of their shtick is, they're the funny ones. Mm-hmm. They don't take things seriously. This isn't the Avengers. Even the Avengers would take a moment to take a dramatic scene for as funny as they are.
I think individually they had some very sincere moments.
Oh, yeah, individually.
Yeah.
And I think...
a lot of introspective, especially... that raccoon guy.
Rocket?
Rocket, yes.
I like that you call him the raccoon guy. You mean the raccoon?
The trash panda.
Trash panda. They had so much fun making fun of what? A fox, they called him everything.
Yeah.
A puppy. But yeah, I really loved it. And I think I loved it because it was more character-based. Mm-hmm. Like, the plot is it's weirdly structured because you kind of go off into these side missions, mm-hmm. but they're all tied into the main theme of the movie, which is the idea of family, mm-hmm. and the idea of, who is your family, what is your family, even the fact that Groot is a baby, in a sense, that the Guardians act as his parental figures now, mm-hmm. and, you have Peter Quill's relationship with his father, Nebula and Gamora's relations as sister, Drax sort of missing his family and forming this, father-daughter connection with Mantis, Yondu as, a surrogate father for
Peter. I thought it was a father-daughter connection?
Yeah, that's why he says she reminds him of his daughter.
I kind of felt like it was gonna be more intimate than that.
No, because I felt Drax to me felt like more Mantis' protector. Like the part where he's like, "I believe in you," very encouraging of like mm-hmm. So I mean, maybe it could be that.
I feel like that could still be a little bit more romantic.
I feel like they're just the way their characters are written. They feel like too innocent for me to be like,
That's kind of where I felt like Drax is kind of being a dick, saying like she's ugly and like they have no like sexual attraction, but also like that's not really how they think. So in a way, it can still be romantic, just in a different form.
So you and me read that relationship as two different things.
Yeah, I guess so.
But still, the idea of, this group coming together, and the idea of, Peter's father, his two fathers, essentially. The first one was about Peter's relationship with his mother. This one's about his relationship with his father. Mm-hmm. So I liked that it was a more character-based film. And also, from a plot structure, it felt like a classic Star Trek episode. Mm-hmm. Whereas, like, you on an adventure, you arrive on this strange planet, something's not quite right. You have these, other outlaws coming for you. So I mean, I loved it. I loved it. And you know what's funny that you say about the soundtrack is I think the soundtrack, the individual beats maybe worked better in this film than they did the first film.
Really?
Because like the first film, I think the overall soundtrack to the first film is better. They have more hit songs, but in the narrative where these ones worked, like this one really worked. Like that end with Cat Stevens's father and son, or what was I think my favorite needle drop obviously was Mr. Blue Sky in the beginning. It's such a great way to set the tone for the movie. And then Southern Nights when Rocket's like taking out the Ravagers.
Yeah.
That was a great. Oh my! The one. This one's kind of. I'm not gonna say what happens in it, but there's one with Rocket and Yondu, when they do. There's this like it's an older song. I think it's the oldest song on the soundtrack. And just the poppy nature of it combined with what you're seeing on screen is so gruesome. It's so funny.
No, I think they choose to put them in certain scenes really well. But I don't know, I feel like kind of how you felt about Suicide Squad. Like, they just overly use songs.
How dare you even think about...
I think maybe if there was just one or two less songs, I would be okay with it. But I just felt like it was just something has happened, or now it's an action scene, now it's sad. Boom, play the soundtrack. And it's like, it kind of works, but it also, like, I don't know.
So did you like this one better than the first one, or
I only saw the first one once, so I feel like I'd have to see it again before I really decide. But both of them I loved. I thought both of them, they're fun. They're fun to watch. Yeah.
I'm going to say I like this one slightly more than the first one just because I like the character interactions more. One negative, I feel like I haven't said anything negative about the movie, and I will say, here's the most negative thing I can say. The final action sequence, I think, goes on a little too long. I guess I was sort of negative when I said they were a little too jokey at times. But here's something else. The action scene at the end goes on a little too long. It kind of suffers from that Batman v Superman thing of like there's too many things visually going on. You have like rocks and laser beams and all this stuff flying, and it's sort of hard to make out. But if you see it in 3D, it's a little better. So I would say if you have a chance to go see it in 3D, go see it in 3D because it really stands out, especially the colors, like some of the visual design choices. But yeah, other than the climax being a little too visually going on, I think the rest of the movie is just so... And again, I don't even hate the climax because it's so rooted in the characters and I care what happens to them that it works. It just sometimes I can't tell what's going on.
Yeah, no, I feel like that climax was definitely a turning point for many of the characters, and that's what made it more important.
Special shout out to Kurt Russell and Michael Rooker. Kurt Russell as Ego is awesome. Like, I just love Kurt Russell. He just is so much fun whenever he shows up.
Could they have picked a more obvious name?
Ego.
For him?
I mean, if you look like Kurt Russell, I mean, look, I bet he's got an ego.
But I just find it hilarious how a lot of characters in superhero films will have the most obvious name.
Taser face.
or even Interstellar, we were just talking about it. Man. And that was the human aspect of Interstellar. Why do we have to pick such obvious names?
Well, comic books, because they were written in the 60s, and they were mainly written for children. So that's one reason why they had those obvious names. Ego, the living planet. Yeah, I was so happy. I was so happy when they showed the face. Also, guys, remember this one has 5 after credit sequences, so stick around till the end of the credits for all 5 of them. I guess we shouldn't say what they are. We shouldn't. Yeah, that's sort of spoilers. So we're not going to say what they are, but they are pretty.
They're fun. So stick around.
They're fun. Is there anything else we want to talk about with Guardians?
Nah. It's cool.
Yeah, it's a good way to start. It's a good way to start the summer, and I would rank, honestly, if I were to rank it among all the Marvel films, I might rank it, I think it's going to be pretty high on my list. I think I'm going to rank it currently 4. Just below Avengers, Age of Ultron, and Civil War.
Oh, yeah?
I think it's going to go pretty high on the list, because I'm probably going to rewatch this one a lot, because it's just so much fun.
This is the Fantastic Four film you never had.
Oh, it is. It is the Fantastic Four film. It's the Fantastic Four I'm never going to get. I'm never going to get that movie. I'm come to accept that in my lifetime.
Maybe in 40 years. You never know.
Unless Fox gives up those rights, I'm not going to see a Fantastic Four movie in my lifetime. The closest I got to before was The Incredibles.
Oh my God.
And now it's Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. So guys, that is our it for movie reviews. We have a special announcement right now. We said for the end of the show. Guys, this is our last episode of Within the Frame. Yeah.
Yeah.
We've been doing this for about a year now. I remember when Kevin, our producer, approached me about doing this. We were at this very same set. That's actually why we're at this set, because we wanted it to be very fitting. You know, first show was filmed here. Last show should be filmed here. So Kevin approached me around May of 2016 about doing a show kind of covering Arizona news and movie reviews. And I was, very nervous when I was first given first approached about it. Because I've never been on camera before. I'm very nervous. I'm still nervous on camera. I still flare my hand out too far. Now it's out of frame. My camera person's probably going to kill me, but I talk too fast. So they were like, okay. We were going through some samples for a month or two, and they were like, all right, Richard works better when he's bouncing off somebody. So who does Richard work well off of? And I thought, well, Janet. I work great off Janet. So we brought on Janet, and it's been a lot of fun, hasn't it, Janet?
Yeah. Definitely liked filming every Friday. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. Definitely stick around and keep being subscribed to the channel. You never know what's going to happen with the channel. We may be back. We might not be back. New hosts might be back. So definitely stay tuned to Within the Frame.
Yeah. So we'd like to give a special thanks to our crew. Karina Grow, our camera person. Kyle Hobson, our computer guy who gets all of our images. Kevin Perry, our producer, the man who made this all happen. We wouldn't be here without him. Special shout out to Michelle Perry, who is sadly no longer with us, but she is part of the brains behind this operation. Michelle, we miss you, and we thank you for bringing us together. You were our Nick Fury. That makes Kevin our Maria Hill. Guys, thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for the comments. We really appreciate it. And thank you for just checking out the website.
Where can they stay connected with you, Richard?
You guys can stay connected with me on Twitter and Instagram at rlfink94. And Janet, where can they stay connected with you at?
YouTube, My Road to Hollywood. I have my own channel on there. Also, Twitter, JanetSass93.
All right, guys. Thank you for watching, and thank you for staying within the frame. You guys have a good day, and we will see you around.